Good morning. You may remain seated. Today is Friday, December 10th, and it's a B-day on your schedule. Today for lunch is mac and cheese bar. And today's song lyric is, "She knows she lived through it to get to this moment," from Graceland 2 by Phoebe Bridges. And now we have a senior presentation by Rowan Brown.
Throughout most of my life, I've always had my own personal style. Ever since I could dress myself, I've always loved mixing and matching and being true to myself. My family called it Fashions by Rowan. As a child, there was a very long period of my life where I'd insist on either wearing a tutu, which over time became smaller and smaller and rode higher and higher up my butt, or I'd wear nothing. In my opinion, this came from my early obsession with opera and constant exposure to ballet. Although I quit ballet at a young age, I would watch my brother's ballet recitals in awe. All the girls' costumes in different shapes, colors, and styles, and wish that could be me twirling around on stage in a poofy purple tutu, going along with every movement I make. But the outfit is all I would really care about. A kick, and it would fly up in such an elegant way, making me look as if I were a flower dancing. This dress-up tutu phase never really went away until my tutus were too small, even for just wearing them around the house. I wouldn't be able to categorize a lot of my style choices as a child, so I'll just highlight the fun parts. We have the crazy colored tights, the corduroys, the jorts, my mom's clothes, my dad's clothes, and the list goes on and on and on. Though these articles of clothing weren't what made Fashions by Rowan exist, it's the fact that I'd wear these clothes together and work the look not matching whatsoever. I made all these fashion statements from about the age of 2 until I went into 7th grade. As I got older, I started to suppress my creativity, especially in the way I dressed. Fashions by Rowan came to an end. At this time, I was also the most insecure I've ever been in my life. I started to look at myself very negatively, wondering why I didn't look like the models and other people I would see in ads and on social media. I started to judge myself compared to other people, instead of looking at me for who I am. Along with this, in middle school, people were mean to me and said hurtful things, and I let these things said to me by other people in my class influence me. For example, in 8th grade, a boy in my class called me fat. This made me hide even more from the world. I let other people's judgments affect the way I looked at myself, and I let these simple words change my life. I couldn't wear anything but huge baggy hoodies, skin-tight jeans, big t-shirts, and anything else that wouldn't make me stand out. I hated myself. I never saw someone beautiful when I looked at myself, and I never accepted who I was and only looked at who I wanted to be. My first year of high school, I joined the crew team. This constant activity helped me a lot with my negative body image. I started actually noticing my strength and that I was actually in shape, and slowly over every season, I felt better and better about myself, but something was still missing. One day nearing the end of my sophomore year, it was announced that SEM would be shutting down for 2 weeks due to a global pandemic. These 2 weeks turned into 4, and then into the rest of the year. During quarantine, that time with myself made me think about how I was even letting people's judgments bother me when I was alone. I realized this was a very unhealthy mindset and way to live. I began to do things that made me happy and feel good instead of what I thought everyone wanted me to do. I started painting, drawing, and creating more. This became an outlet for me to express myself however I wanted to. I didn't have to go along with anyone's ideas or rules. My art was my art, and however I made it, it was beautiful. Slowly over time, I realized I shouldn't let my own insecurities and anxieties about what others think of me dictate my happiness and what I do with my life. I told myself, if people judge me, let them. They aren't worthy of your friendship if they have negative opinions on you and make you feel bad about yourself, as long as you're happy doing what you're doing and being the person you want to be. I focused on the love around me. My friends and family would support me through all the decisions I made. People would continue to help me as I expressed the new me through my style. People who would see me as me. I started to branch out with my style. I became very obsessed with thrifting and secondhand shopping. I could get clothes for a low price and do whatever I wanted to them, whether it was cutting up shirts or ripping my pants. I could personalize my clothes to how I wanted them to be, and I wore what I felt good in. And with this, Fashions by Rowan returned. Going back to school after the year of quarantine, I realized how supportive an environment I had been in all this time, and I just needed to get past my own inner critic to see all the beauty in the world and in myself. I needed to leave the pain of others' words in the past and move forward. This time of growth is a very important time in my life now. I tapped into a part of me that I love. I learned to do what makes me happy and forget the people who brought me down. This change in mindset helped me greatly with my self-esteem. I chose to look at myself as beautiful instead of criticizing everything about myself. I chose my own happiness over others' opinions. I would like to tell every one of you how important it is to love yourself. No matter what anyone says to you, no matter how you see yourself right now, know you are a beautiful human being inside and out. So stop looking at other people and wishing you could look like them, and look at yourself instead. Every detail, every so-called imperfection is what makes you you. Our differences are what makes us beautiful. I know it's hard to see your own beauty, but all I can say about this is listen to your friends. Whenever your friends say, "You look good," or mention how beautiful you are, they're most likely telling the truth. So hear it and believe it. You're surrounded by love and support. Whatever decisions you make for yourself will be supported by the people you love and the people who love you. I want everyone to take a minute to look around you. All the beauty, love, care just in this room. Students, teachers, and administrators are all here to support you, to be your own individual self. People all here to love your own personal expression. I believe that everyone's personal expression is magic. So be true to yourself, spread happiness, spread positivity, and go out there and make some magic. Thank you.
Thank you, Rowan. It was actually a really great presentation. I like the message that you're saying. It's positive. Now, no other presentations. Today's announcements. Other than please keep adding song lyrics, so I have other lyrics to do in the morning, I have no other announcements. So faculty announcements. Ooh. Oh, no, sorry.
I'm going to come up here because I got some notes. Thanks, Angeline. Nice job, Rowan. Way to set the tone for the day. That was great. Makes you feel good. Okay, this afternoon we will have our second lockdown drill. So shelter-in-place drill is what I've been calling it. Lockdown drill, those two words are interchangeable. Lockdown's just a quicker term, I guess, for shelter-in-place. But we will have one this afternoon. I will not share the time with you all, but it will be after lunch. Okay, we'll spend a few minutes in advisory talking about the safe places, the safe locations, what not to do, where not to go. And I've even suggested that maybe some of the freshman and sophomore classes go out and walk among the building. So go check out those safe places. If you're in the gym or the atrium, remember, those are probably the big hangouts in the places where you'd have to probably run the fastest and go the furthest distance, because the faculty lounge and the erg room, Miss Mills' room, are some of those places where you'd run and go to. When we have this drill this afternoon, I want you guys to be quicker than last time. So you knew when we were having the drill, and you probably knew that you were in a fairly safe location, but I still saw some people kind of just just kind of walking around and just getting to a safe place. I want you guys to go quickly, because the people that are in those spaces and locking down will probably take about 5 seconds and then be shutting their doors, locking it, and then staying quiet. If you go and you're lollygagging around, you might not find a place that is open. They are instructed not to open their doors. So please go quickly. And again, this is a drill. Okay, it's not going to be perfect. That's why we do these. So don't freak out. We're going to be around, walking around, and help you get to safety. But this is just the lessons that we learn, so that, God forbid, if something happens, we have thought about these things, and we know to do better next time and what not to do. A few things that I wanted to mention in light of what happened at Oxford High School in Michigan. I read and watched that tragedy a lot, and just what they learned along the way. I think their students did a really good job staying locked down. If you watched that at all, the intruder tried to get in and they didn't let them in. You stay put. If this was a real lockdown, stay put for as long as you have to stay put, okay? There are no code words. A few people said, well, why don't we have like Miss Angel is, whatever the code word that we used maybe 4 years ago, like Miss Angel is alive. I don't know what it was, something like that. Use a code word that your school would know so that they know when to get out of lockdown. You will know when to get out of lockdown. Code words, I feel like, just cause confusion. And if it was one of us who decided to do crazy things, then you would know the code word. And so that's basically why we don't use those code words, because you would know it. When you're in lockdown, you will hear sirens. You will hear, the safety rescue team come, and you would just stay put until you know absolutely for certain that it is safe, okay? So we're not gonna use code words. Obviously, when it's a drill, I'll say that it's a drill, and you'll hear my voice. But in the case of a real lockdown, you'll know when to get out, and just stay put if you don't. If you feel like, no, it's only been 10 minutes, and I don't feel safe, and you're not hearing sirens, and you're not hearing those safety workers, the police, the fire department, then stay put, okay? Err on the side of caution. Secondly, in the case of a real emergency, you would run, okay? If you have the opportunity to run out of this school, absolutely do it. If you're walking by the front door and you hear lockdown, get out the front door and run to Larkin. That's our safe location spot. You would run to Larkin. If you're in admissions, the library, and you see that back door, get out of here and run to Larkin, okay? Don't feel like you have to lock down if the opportunity is there to get out, okay? Stay at Larkin until administrators arrive or a safety rescue team. Stay put there as well, okay? So a guy came from, he was our head of the emergency squad at Buffalo State. He came a few years ago and talked to us, and he kind of said, in the event of an emergency, you're gonna run first, if you can, hide second, and if all else fails, you're gonna fight, and fight hard, okay? Those are just, and then another takeaway, I guess, barricading doors. We're not gonna do that in the event of a drill, but when you walk around with your advisory or you're sitting in lockdown now, look around the room that you're in and think about the things that you can do to barricade doors. I think they did that at Oxford, and it really worked for some of them. The intruders weren't able to get in, and it really just prevented, oh my gosh, I'm talking for longer, but I just want you guys to be aware of some things that I took away from that tragedy and some things to think about at advisory in this afternoon when we lock down. Thank you, guys.
Do you want to do Athlete of the Week? Okay. Everyone have a great day and get to class.